This is FanStream Sports.
Can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who would know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Yes! Here we go!
I guess I want to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about my pants.
Welcome in to Wednesday? A Wednesday edition of the JP Peterson Show, boys and girls. I am not JP Peterson, as we warned you yesterday. Instead, it is another. If you enjoyed last Friday's show, it is another IndyCarTim takeover of the JP Peterson Show, and Petermans and Degenerates and Nathan Elliott. We're going to have some fun today because I brought a substitute teacher in with me.
The good substitute, the good one, the nice one.
I don't know about that. But our substitute teacher today, boys and girls, and we all know what happens when substitute teachers are in class. We just goof off. Most of you are familiar from our golf talk and maybe at From the Rough golf podcast, America's favorite golf podcast. PGA of America member and former professional golfer and current habitual golfer, John Gerber. Welcome to the show, Johnny.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a rarity that we get to do this together on JP Show, but I certainly wish JP was here, and we're praying for him. He had some stuff going on that he couldn't be on the show today or tomorrow, but happy to fill in. What an honor to be with you and to represent the JP Peterson Show. And we're gonna have some fun. We're going to talk a lot of stuff. We're probably going to talk a lot of smack, and I'm looking forward to it, to dive into some Tampa talk, maybe a little golf talk. Maybe we'll throw in a little golf talk there. How about that? We're
definitely going to throw in some golf talk because I have major exceptions with the postseason awards from the PGA 2025 season. We'll get into that, but I've got some complaints. Okay. Yes, JP, as you mentioned, and as everyone has noticed, is not present today. JP is undergoing a medical procedure. He's either having his bionic spine implant inserted today, or he's finally taking care of those mouth sores. I'm not real sure which one he's addressing today.
I thought you were going to say an undercarriage implant. I don't know if I can say that word on this show, but one of those implants I thought you were going to say. But hey,
he might be doing that in private.
He didn't really say much about it, so there's something little he's trying to hide a little bit. I'm not really sure, but we'll find out if he's a little bigger in the crotch next time he comes back here. We'll see.
Are you going to examine that? Because I'm certainly not.
No, but he'll brag about it.
Are you going to be the one to tell us what he's doing and how much bigger it is than before? Because I don't have a point of reference or anything.
I don't either. But if he starts scratching down there, there's something going on.
I don't know about that. Boys and girls, yes, it will be Tampa-centric today. And, we'll, as we normally do on the JP Peterson Show, when JP allows me to pull the show into the ditch, we'll probably have a lot of ditch driving today because if you've ever watched From the Rough Golf Podcast with me and Johnny, we're real good at pulling shows into ditches. And sometimes we can't even get out.
Yeah. Most of the time we don't get out.
Yeah, so that's where we're going today. We've got we're going to talk some Bucs Panthers. Big game coming up this weekend for the Bucs and Panthers. Two teams that seem to be headed somewhat in the same direction, but taking different routes to get there. I've got for you guys, we've been talking about Todd Bowles on the hot seat, and he certainly is. We've talked all week that he might be pre-fired. If that's a thing, I think we invented the pre-firing because we talked about Mike Norvell being pre-fired earlier in the college football season before he was announced that he's returning. So we'll see if that really happens. But Todd Bowles might be pre-fired. So we're going to talk about the top head coaching candidates that might be in play for the 2026 cycle. That'll be some fun. Guys that may be in charge over there at One Buck Place. The college football playoff starts this weekend on Friday night with Alabama and those Sooners of Oklahoma. And we'll get into that a little bit. I've got ESPN talked about as it were, their predictions. Its predictions. ESPN is an it, not a they, as I'm getting my writer's brain going.
And we could go down. We could go down the games. And
yeah, we're going to go down the matchups in the first round. Who might advance, who won't advance, kind of based on what I saw from ESPN. We'll talk about that a little bit. We talked about the PGA Tour 2025 awards. I have exception with that. And then, Johnny, if all else fails, I've got some Joel Klatt audio that I want to play. I'm a big fan of Joel Klatt. I love his show. I like him and Gus Johnson calling the games. And a lot of people don't. A lot of people think Gus is over the top, but I think Joel keeps him in check a little bit in the booth. And I'm a big fan of Joel. I liked him as a quarterback at Colorado. It doesn't really fit with Colorado, but
just no.
So I usually do my Keith Jackson when I do Alabama.
You when you say Colorado, you talk in Colorado terms. You can't be so hyped. It's got to be, yeah, man, Colorado.
Well, I think that's what you I don't know that announcers inflect the weed aspect when they're talking about the Buffaloes.
Oh, you don't have to. You just walk around. All you got to do is just walk around. It doesn't matter. It just gets ingrained in you like the air. It just
I used to want to retire in Colorado. Like for my entire life, that's where I want to live there to retire one day because I vacationed there every winter of my life for most of my life. But now that the weed thing's going on there, I might be out. I just might be out.
Well, when I fly West Coast, when I go East Coast, West Coast, or Texas to out there, I always stop in the Denver airport. First off, it's a great airport. You got to watch, but they have the best bars in the airport. They're in Nashville, probably are the two best airports for bars. Right. So, for whatever, and it kind of shows a little bit about me, how I direct my flights and then direction of who has the best bars. It tells you a lot about me, but Denver is just one of those cool, chill places. I know a lot of people that have moved out there. But people who like it, they love it. And some people just don't like it. I lost you there, Big Tim. So we'll be talking about that. But Denver Airport, if you go out there to Denver Airport, it's a really cool airport. They got these, I don't know, it's these breakfast places. I usually fly out there in the wintertime and stop at those places, but it's pretty good. We lost you, Big Tim.
Boy, sorry about that. Our power just flickered here, and I lost power.
Oh, welcome to Dallas.
I'm sure you were carrying the show.
I was talking about Denver airports.
Yeah. See, I miss the old Stapleton. I don't like DIA. It's something bad about it. It's got bad.
And it's far from the city, and it sits way up top on the hill. So it's you got to be a little cautious flying through there in the wintertime. You could get stuck, but it's not a terrible place to get stuck.
A lot of conspiracies about that airport. Yeah. They're hiding aliens underneath it.
It might be
that it's run by a Satanist group because they got the Satan horse out in front.
I think that's a little overboard, but the aliens should certainly.
No, that's a real thing. People think that Satanists are like living under the airport and stuff. That they say that horse is demonized, and it's all done on purpose by the government. But yeah, I miss the old Stapleton. I had a lot of experiences there. I might have gotten laid in one of the bathrooms at Stapleton back in the day.
Not a surprise.
Might have been the only time I've been laid in my
Yeah.
life.
Does that count as a Mile High Club, even though you're not in the air, but you're Mile High?
So everyone that ever had sex in Denver, you're in the Mile High Club because you are a Mile High.
That's a check.
Yeah. Let's address some comments here before we get into some content here. King Zoraful. Clint Kubiak and Mike LaFleur would be my first choices. I'm tired of Todd's outdated defense that he forces players into rather than work out a scheme that benefits his players. Yeah, we've talked about that, for years now on the show, right? Kind of how outdated Todd Bowles' defense is, how We talked about it with Scott Reynolds about just how Todd Bowles can't adapt. He can't adapt his defense. It's so overly complicated. Nobody understands it, and he can't adapt. He can't adapt that defense. So it's definitely outdated. It's overly complicated, and we're seeing what happens now when you don't have the guys that can run it, or you've got injuries to the guys that think they can run it, and it just doesn't work. And we're seeing the results of that this season.
Yeah, you look at a guy that, like in Todd Bowles, whose side of the ball is supposed to be defense and his specialty, right? I mean, that's a great point. I mean, you're going to have players coming in all the time, and injuries happen all the time, and free agents happen all the time. It's just the way of the NFL. And if you can't adapt the way to your players and say, hey, this is the scheme, you guys have to adapt this way. If it's overly complicated, listen, these NFL players, I hate to say it, but the majority of them aren't, NASA's not calling them to come for a job. They're just not. So you got to take what they have and adapt, especially if your focus and your main thing is the defensive side of the ball. I would think that would be something that he would kind of learn over the years. But my point with Todd Bowles is, great points, but my thing with Todd Bowles is, and I always look when coaches are kind of on their way out and they've kind of lost, when they start losing the locker room and the effort's not there, that's what I see from Tampa. I think the effort's not there. And I think that's why he's so upset, is that when you lose that locker room and these guys aren't putting in the effort that they said. I got a list of people watching games in Tampa games. Man, they're making business decisions. They're not playing hard. And that's something that when you lose, you don't have the respect of the head coach, especially when you're still in the playoffs and you don't play hard. That's a bad sign for the coach.
It's a bad look too.
Yeah.
Further comments here, man. Everybody's popping in. Hey, by the way, I appreciate you guys too. I need to say thank you to all of you guys for being so cordial and supporting Friday's show as I did the solo show. I didn't want to subject y'all to that again on today, so I brought Johnny in again. Substitute teacher, babysitter, whatever you want to call him. We're going to roll with him today, but I appreciate all you guys. That was a fun show Friday. It might have been one of the most fun shows I've done in my darn near 75 years of broadcasting at various levels. So I appreciate that, you guys. King Zoraful. I think Miami beats Texas A&M. That's the only prediction you care about. Now, look,
yes.
Dude.
Yes.
Look, dude, that number one, it's going to be a good game. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. I don't know if you're just saying that because you're a Hurricanes fan or if it's because I went to A&M.
Both.
Either way, you're wrong. Ain't happening. Miami has no chance against Texas A&M's defense.
Chance.
Carson Beck might not even finish the game. He's going to get yanked after he's sacked 74 times in the first half.
That's very stern on your part to say that. No chance. No chance.
Zero.
Man.
A&M might win by 50.
Well, I'll take that. I'll take Miami and 50 points if you feel so compelled to place that wager.
I don't bet on college football.
Oh, you bet on NFL football?
Seems like the dumbest thing to do for a gambler to bet on college football. It just seems idiotic.
The greatest thing ever.
No. Too many variables.
Sure there are.
We can bet on the NFL because it's rigged, according to JP. And we just happen to know the outcomes of them.
Okay.
Kings also says, can't wait to see Bryce Young and Zach Wilson have career games against Bowles defense. It's an inevitability. I am inevitable. 30th ranked pass defense gets worse every year. Look, I don't know about that. We'll talk about Bryce Young here in a second. I'm not convinced he's a good quarterback, and we know Zach Wilson is not a good quarterback. Look, Zach Wilson could have a career game against the Bucs defense, and that means he throws for 140 yards and goes 9 of 32, right, with 8 interceptions. That would be a career game for him, I'm pretty sure.
And when did Bryce Young become this superstar? Because did Dave Canales just, year 2, I get it, working in the system. But, when you watch a guy like Bryce Young play football, he looks like a boy amongst men. Yeah. I mean, he is little. And, you could see some of these other quarterbacks that are little in terms of height-wise, but most of the time these guys are thick. They're taking the hits. But Bryce Young looks both. He looks small, and he doesn't look thick. So, Man, I'm surprised that he's had the success that he's had this year with Carolina.
Well, I mean, we say success. I mean, to me, he's been average at best, but it's a testament to the team around him and to, well, we'll just say Rico Dowdle has helped that offense tremendously. And yes, I think Dave Canales has made a big difference with Bryce Young's game. I think Dave Canales is getting everything he can out of Bryce Young. I just don't see Bryce Young in the league in 3 years.
Yeah, and getting everything out of you're out of he can from Bryce Young is a fringe playoff team. That's usually not good. If that's his ceiling, just a fringe playoff team, that's really not a good look. And he is one hit away from being the towel boy.
He's one hit away from being Tua.
Yeah, he has the potential to be a towel boy for sure. I mean, that's a look. Tua's thick. Bryce Young's not thick,
but he's made of glass.
Yeah.
Plays Blues Wolf. You perform like you practice and prepare. That's on coaching. They're ill-prepared, poorly coached, and badly led, and it shows on game day. 100% accurate.
Great point.
Nathan Elliott. Good morning to the JP Peterson Show. Peeps, he refuses to use the name that JP has adopted for his listeners of Petermans. And look, like I said on Friday, I'm kind of right there with you. I don't usually engage in Petermans. I don't like that. I'd rather just call all you guys degenerates. Because that's what you are. And I use that term in the most affectionate way possible. Hello to any degenerates or trolls waiting and preparing to watch. Look, you can be a troll today in the comments, but at least be a good troll. Make a good point, right? Have a good dig at me or my Aggies. Don't just don't name call. At least have a good dig or a good troll. All right. Let's just keep it respectful in the troll department. Sitting in Texas. Yeah, it's me. We got Sitting in Texas and Johnny live from Kansas City. So we're spread all over the country today with the JP Peterson Show. Sergey Biltres, who dat? That's what I'm talking about. My Saints, my Aints. I usually don't say that on the JP Peterson Show, but because it doesn't go over well in Tampa Bay. Rick, our first comment from Rick. Finally, did JP finally save up for his transition surgery? Jean Paul. Look, I still think he's still saving up for that because those are expensive, and I know how much JP makes, and he can't afford that unless he found a sponsor for it.
He's going to ask for a raise soon.
So along with that transition surgery, he's going to have a billboard tattooed on the small of his back with his tramp stamp that reads Bay Area Modern Medical Center or something like that. That's how he's going to pay for that. Stay hard, Gil Gerard. I have not seen this, Nathan. Did he pass away? Wow.
Yeah.
I loved me some Gil Gerard. By the way, Buck Rogers in the 25th century. The chick that played Wilma, what was her name? Erin something or other? As hot as she possibly was. My first baby mama was the spitting image of her.
Oh.
And all I could think of was Wilma in that white jumpsuit on Buck Rogers when that deed was going down. And let's just say I didn't last very long.
Yeah.
And that produced baby number one.
That's a long time ago. I wasn't even born yet, I don't think.
What? You were already graduated high school, probably.
No.
You played golf on the tour with Arnold Palmer.
I had an Arnold Palmer. Yeah, he died too.
I know. Stay hard, Arnold. I have not heard that about Gil Gerard, man. That's one of my childhood my teenage heroes, man.
Buck Rogers.
Climactic, y'all really think Bryce gonna light us up? Like, truly believe that? Yeah, I would be hard pressed to agree with that. Climactic for sure. Nathan Elliott, hello, Johnny Golf. That's a good
morning.
Name.
Good morning. Good morning. Spelled Johnny wrong, but that's all right.
It's okay. It's your alter ego. It's not supposed to be spelled the same way.
Yeah.
Look, IndyCarTim only has one M, but when I spell my name Tim, it's got two M's. So it doesn't have to be the same.
Nathan says Aaron Gray was her name. That's right.
Aaron Gray. There you go. You are absolutely. You are erect, sir. Thank you.
This guy, Nathan's a genius. He's a genius. Just can't spell Johnny.
Well, he did. That's your alter ego. It's not supposed to be Johnny Gerber. It's Johnny Golf, and it's spelled differently. It's the way it works.
Right.
Michael LaRue, good morning to you. If Kalijah Cansey wants a shot at returning for the wild card game, the Bucs should open his 21-day practice window today. That would get him through the final 3 games of the regular season. Yeah, and I don't know what the situation with Kalijah Cansey is, or how close he is, or if we're even trying that. Like, sure, they can use him, but you don't want to bring him back too early just for a playoff run that probably isn't going to take you anywhere anyway, to be quite honest. I just walked into this podcast talking about examining crotches. Yeah, Sergio, that's what you get with a Johnny and Tim podcast. As Johnny has promised us that he will examine JP's crotch after his surgery to verify what he did and did not have done.
That wasn't a promise. That was not a promise. So take that back.
We have been assured that we will find out, and Johnny's going to be our reporter on the scene, on site.
That's a lot.
Fighting through the bush. Bucs are not beating the Panthers with that defense, Sergio Biltris. I think you're right. I think I'm picking the Bucs here. We may get into some predictions a little bit later. Aviation, morning, gentlemen. As long as you're using that word loosely, then I agree with you, aviation. Good morning, gentlemen. Mike Stover, FSU lost to Dayton in basketball.
Dayton's good. They're always good.
Yeah, Dayton's not bad, Mike. And we know FSU's not good. Yeah. Look what my Aggies did to FSU. It's not good, buddy.
Yeah, Dayton's got more pros got more guys in the NBA than Florida State does. So don't be surprised. They're always solid.
Who is this Kalijah Cansey you speak of? Yeah, he's kind of been missing in action, Dean, hasn't he, for sure? Rick, sex in Denver bathroom, was he gentle to you, Tim? Are you or are you a George Michael veteran?
Wow.
So it was a woman. I can confidently proclaim that it was definitely a woman. However, I will admit, on the rating scale, it probably wasn't one of my better days, because when you're stuck in a Denver airport with an 11-hour layover, you can't be too picky. All right. You pretty much just got to find someone to say yes of the right sex. And she did, after we had a few drinks at the bar. And that's my Denver story. You know,
told you those Denver airports were good.
Yeah. Not one of my more proud moments, but hey, here I am some 30 years later telling it on the air.
Bars at Denver airports are great. See, so case in point.
That's what we do around here. Nathan Elliott, the scheme is not outdated when you have the D-line players up front to run it. I think this goes way deeper than the D-line players. This is secondary, your linebackers. This thing's, as you know, Nathan, you've seen enough Bucs football to know this is a complicated scheme, and you got to have the right personnel. And I don't know if this thing ever had the right personnel to make this thing look good. As you say, that can run it. That's drafting and free agency. That's Jason Light. You have to have your coach and your GM on the same page with personnel. And I'm not sure that Jason Light and Todd Bowles have ever been on the same page with personnel, to be honest with you. I don't know how much say-so Todd Bowles has in the draft room and about the players he wants or the kind of players he wants. And you know what? I'll go a step further. I am not sure Todd Bowles knows what kind of players he wants. He told us at the combine this year he wants ball hawks. Well, Jason Light went out and got guys that are supposed to be ball hawks, and none of them look good in this scheme.
Let me ask you a question. You know, it seems to me like Todd Bowles is, whether they start really hot through the season and they law in the middle of the season, they play poorly at the end, or they get off to a bad start over the last 2 or 3, 4 years. It seems like to me, some point in the season, Todd Bowles always seems to be on the hot seat. Like at some point in the year, he's on the hot seat. Listen, every single year, that's got to affect him too. You don't ever want to go in there fearing that you're coaching for your job, because then the players can see how that affects them and say, well, if the coach is not here, what am I going to do next year? Am I staying? Am I going? What's the effect? So that comes with effort. Let the guy coach. Quit talking about the hot seat. Let this guy coach out through the year. Stop talking about all the BS if he's going to get fired or not because he's underperformed. Listen, Todd Bowles can't catch a football or defend anymore. These are the players. His main thing, his main goal is to keep these guys motivated, keep these guys playing, and he's not doing that. Is that the hot seat? No, I don't know, but quit talking about Todd Bowles is on the hot seat, because every year, at some point in the year, people were saying he's on the hot seat. That affects him. That affects the players. That affects effort. That affects everything. Leave the guy alone till the end of the season. Make your decision. Quit the chatter. Let these guys play. Period.
Well, the Glazers are not an ownership family group that fires coaches midseason. That's just not in their
quit talking
DNA.
about it. Quit talking about him being on the hot seat then. The fans, whoever it may be. Is he? Yeah, maybe. Well, quit talking about
there's
it.
no maybe. He is.
Yeah, I know that. But still, he's been on the hot seat for 4 years and he ain't been fired. So, I mean, let's let the guy play.
It's hard to fire a guy who wins his division every year.
Correct.
All right? Regardless of the performance on the field and how bad his team plays and how outcoached he gets every game, how bad he mismanages the clock every game, it's hard to fire a guy that wins your crappy, sucky ass division every year. But at some point, you got to do better.
I agree, but 75% of the teams in the league would take their position with the Tampa Bay, and it's not Tampa Bay's fault that the division that they're in. It's not. They're teams that are no good. That's a transitional thing. That division will get better in 3 or 4 years. It goes up and down with free agency. It's just the way it is. But I mean, that affects when all this chatter, all these guys here, Bowles is on the hot seat, and all this. I'm telling you, that affects the locker room. It affects everything that these guys hear. You could say, oh, we try to shut it down. We try to get all the noise out of the way. It doesn't happen. You walk down the street all the time in Tampa. It's nice out in wintertime. People are outside. People hear stuff. So, maybe just let the guy coach a little bit and quit talking about him getting fired, and maybe he can do his job a little bit better.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, Johnny. I got news for you.
I know it's not.
He's going to do his job better, and we're not going to stop bitching about his coaching, because that's football fans, man. That's what we do.
I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying the coaching is great. I'm just saying, hey, you made a great point. He's won the division the last 4 years. I mean, he's doing something right. Is it great? No, probably not. Could it be better, or are the expectations too high? Are they? I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's certainly you can't continue to do, no matter what your job is, you can't do your job when you're walking on eggshells. You just can't. Yeah. And not effectively, not good enough.
He should be used to it by now.
Maybe, but still, I mean, still not good.
Still not good. Let's take our first break of the show, shall we, Johnny? You probably need to refill your drink already, if I know you. Your vodka, your breakfast vodka, because it's only 9:30 where we are, guys. Keep that in mind. We're an hour behind you guys.
I got to work out.
I had my 2 Jaegers and my 2 Miller Lights. I'm about to open a Modelo.
Wow. Did I buy Modelo for the studio?
No, I did. And I've got Jaeger in my coffee here. We're about to have a rambunctious second half to the first hour here. But we need to remind everybody, it's Christmas season. It is the holiday season. So give the sports fan in your life something they'll never want to not cheer for. That was a confusing statement. The FanStream Sports merch store at fanstreamsports.com is loaded with fresh gear, 3/4 zips, hats, tees, and other exclusive apparel from your favorite FanStream Sports shows. Whether you're stuffing stockings or treating yourself, do it at FanStream Sports style. Order now to beat the holiday rush. Score the perfect Christmas gift for the ultimate sports fanatic. Head to fanstreamsports.com today. Click on merch. It's right up there at the top. It's where sports meets the season of giving. fanstreamsports.com. Back in 5 minutes and 11 seconds.
Genesis of Tampa, they got some serious ho going on this Christmas. It's the Miracle Holiday Sales Event and their 30 days of giving. First, for any new vehicle in the month of December sold, first payment will be deferred 90 days, and then the dealership will make the first payment up to $500. That can save you a lot of cash that you can use for Christmas shopping. And every day in December, they're giving away a $500 shopping spree. All you got to do is have your car appraised, and you get an entry into the daily drawing for the $500 shopping spree. And every weekend day in December, customers simply need to stop by the dealership, scan the QR code, and they get an entry into the $500 shopping spree contest. No purchase necessary. test drive a vehicle, and we will 10x your entry into the shopping spree. Christmas and New Year's Eve, each holiday, if a customer books a test drive for the specified day, they will receive a themed t-shirt, limited edition, as well as an additional $250 off the purchase price. Bottom line is, get your butt and your sleigh down to Genesis of Tampa, 801 East Bears Avenue, just off 275. It's going to be a big Christmas at Genesis of Tampa. Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. That's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years, where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports. It's FanStream Sports Tampa Bay. Of course, there's FanStream Sports Dallas and also FanStream Sports Ohio. And coming soon, boys and girls, we have our fourth region in the United States coming soon. We'll break that news on Friday for you and where it is. And some of you Floridians might actually I don't know, get excited about this because it's relatively close.
That's right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. But we have our fourth region for FanstreamSports.com, and we are excited to be on the move and to be expanding and talking more sports and all that implies with each and every one of you all across this great nation. So I got to get this out of the way, Johnny.
That's it.
Here, let's get the other camera up here so I can.
Not 9:30. You go. That's perfect.
9:38. All this Todd Bowles talk. My first show shot. Like I said, I did 2 before we went on the air, just in preparation.
Okay.
Me and Big Red used to say we got to get lubed up. We called it getting lubed up for the show. For those of you that don't know my podcast and FanStream Sports and DSP Media history, I started this thing with my neighbor back in 2017 on the lid of his trash can in his garage. No video, it was just audio, and we were called the Drunk Sports Podcast.
Fitting.
And it was glorious. Our show prep involved downing a 12-pack of Miller Lite before every show, before we'd go on the air at 8 o'clock Central Time on Sunday nights. So we would say we got to get lubed up for the show. I'm getting lubed up. Rick, leave it alone. Be nice, Rick. When I say I'm getting lubed up, all right, it's internally with my liquor. I'm not lubing up any body parts. I'm not anticipating sexual relations with a male. All right. This is strictly just I'm drinking. Okay.
Yeah.
Rick, be nice.
And to let everybody know, that was not tea. That was real Jaeger, because I bought the Jaeger machine and I filled it up last week when I was in Dallas. So I do know that is real booze.
It is. I can feel it going all the way down.
Yeah.
All the way down my insides. Rick, that is absolutely true. This show only gets better with drinking. Wait, for you or me?
Both.
It's a good question here.
Yeah.
So look, let's get into some Panthers and Buccaneers. And we were talking about Zach Wilson. Do we know, have they made an announcement that Zach Wilson is starting? Because if they have, I haven't seen it, but I haven't looked. We know Tua is out. But it's hard for me to imagine a team where Zach Wilson is better than Quinn Ewers. So I haven't seen this, if that's the case. So we will see. Either way, and I know we're getting ahead of ourselves because you have the Panthers first, but for that Miami game, is anybody scared of either one of those guys?
Well, I mean, when Zach Wilson and Quinn Ewers is your two quarterbacks, there's not a lot of people that are going to be scared of you. First off, it's you can designate one QB2, QB3, but they're the same. They're QB0. Both of them are QB0. It's just what they are. I mean, yeah, it's just what it is. It's just what it is. And if you said 4 years ago Quinn Ewers was going to be struggling to make a football team, I'd say you're crazy, because I thought he was talented.
Me too.
I think the wear and tear on the college football season, especially at Texas, him getting beat up hurt him. He suffered through some injuries. Certainly the arm talent's there. If you want to compare abilities in terms of arm talent, I think Quinn Ewers certainly is a guy that has more talent than Zach Wilson. But Zach Wilson, to me, is a face that you just want to punch. He's that guy. He is the guy that's just a snotty-nosed kid, in my opinion, made some bad PR mistakes, talks too much trash, and the guy that these guys and listen, I'm telling you, the league and the NFL and Tampa Bay, like you said, not to get too far forward in the Miami game, these guys want to crack him. They have the days of the Zach Wilsons of the Jets and him talking and pretty boy and all this, and he's in trouble.
He's a douche canoe.
He's in trouble.
So the Panthers and the Bucs both control their own destiny after both lost in Week 15. Devastating losses, by the way, for both teams. Once again, we're in a situation in the NFC South where it looks like nobody wants to win the division.
Right.
I don't know if it's because it's such an embarrassing title to win the division, to win the South, but still, you're in the playoffs. Both teams have a ton left to play for here. They're going to face each other in week 16 and 18 here as we wrap up the NFL season. First, of course, on Sunday in Charlotte, and then the second game on January 4th at Ray J. So if one team sweeps the other in these two matchups, obviously that team wins the division. If they both finish with the same record, the Bucs have the edge by virtue of tiebreaker scenarios. Tampa Bay owns the tiebreaker right now against common opponents. The Bucs are 5-5 against those common opponents, which is your first tiebreaker, and the Panthers are 4-6 against those same. So it's the narrowest of margins that you own that tiebreaker, but it is what it is. And look, neither team right now is playing very well. So is a sweep of one or the other likely? Probably not. I'm going to guess they're probably going to split these two games. I don't know. Both of these teams are really hard to judge, right? Like, because you never know what version of this team you're going to get.
Well, I look at it in terms of if you look at teams that are kind of equal, same record, who's fighting for the division, you look at you have to go back to your best player or your quarterback. If you look at a guy like Bryce Young, feeling that he's probably playing as good as he's going to play. That's why they're doing well. And I go in the opposite side. I think Baker's playing probably the worst he's played all season. I don't think he's completely healthy. So if you can get a little bit more up from Baker Mayfield and have him play like he played at the first half of the year, and then on the opposite side, have Bryce Young not playing like a superstar that he thinks he is and kind of gets down to reality a little bit, I think you can clearly see that Tampa Bay is a better team on the field. I just think the injuries and the way Baker's playing has put them in a position that they're a little bit behind the eight ball. But I think that comes with time, and I think that comes with Baker getting healthy. As soon as he gets healthy, I think they go back to that spot to where they're not so relying on that defense because their offense isn't really scoring any points.
Yeah, and if you want to break this down from a talent standpoint, I don't think there's any question the Buccaneers are a more talented team at most positions on the field. However, I will also say I'm relatively certain that the Panthers are better coached on both sides of the ball. And look, the Panthers, we talk about the season the Bucs have had starting 6-1, and now you're not. You had a horrible run since then. The Panthers have had one of the most up and down seasons of any team as well. Don't forget, they started 0-2. Then they won 4 of their next 5. And since then, since their win at the Jets, they've gone loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. They have not put together consecutive wins since October.
And that's the inconsistency of the quarterback.
Yeah, it's because you never know what young you're going to get, right? Both teams at 7-7, obviously. From a scoring standpoint, the Bucs have been much better. 327 points for, just 264 for Carolina. Carolina's wins and losses come in much lower scoring affairs, and we thought we would say that about the Bucs, but it hasn't been the case. But this Panthers team seems to me, we talk about the Bucs. Are they just 1 or 2 players away? This Panthers team, almost the way they play, it seems like if they had just 1 or 2 pieces, I'm not saying they'd be, gangbusters and a Super Bowl contender, but it seems like a move at 1 or 2 positions and maybe include the quarterback in that. Seems like they've got their running back tandem going. But maybe even at the quarterback, it seems like this thing could be a lot better. And I say that because of coaching. And I know inconsistency, a lot of times you can blame coaching on that. I don't necessarily blame Dave Canales for the inconsistency with the Panthers, where I do blame Todd Bowles mostly for the inconsistency with the Bucs. Throw injuries in there. Clearly that has had a factor this season. And
part of the game.
Yeah, that's part of the game. Every team has injury, especially this time of the season, as you're down the home stretch approaching the playoffs. Every team's dealing with injuries. Yes, the Bucs have had more than their fair share since week 1, since the offseason of injuries.
Right.
But, I've seen coaches get fired because of injuries. It happens all the time, and especially with a track record like Bowles, where, like you said, Johnny, he is on the hot seat every single season since he has been the head coach, since he was promoted. And rightfully so, because there's a lot of arguments that he's not a great head coach. Maybe he's a great coordinator when that's all he's got to do, but a lot of great coordinators can't be a head coach because now he's trying to run the defense and the whole team, and a lot of guys can't do that. Look at Raheem in Atlanta. I think he's a really good coordinator. He's kind of proven right now that he's not a great head coach, and he's going to probably be a one and done because of it in Atlanta.
Yeah, if you look at the matchup, I mean, certainly the familiarity with these two, it's there. It's going to be a little bit of a chess match between these two, with Dave Canales, being an assistant under Todd Bowles. Yeah, certainly for sure. But I have a question. I mean, you took, how Tampa went along the offseason and getting some of these guys that potentially would fill some spots. But I mean, would you consider Hassan Reddick a bust for this year? Because I don't see anything that he's done with the hype him bringing in and the drama that he created in Philadelphia, then going to the Jets and then coming in here. I mean, certainly I think that they have had to have had more higher expectations of what he would be able to do. He seems to me like there's nothing there that's impressed me from bringing a guy like him in.
So bust is a weird label, right? Because
I don't want to say
many
bust,
variables, and it's based on expectation. Did they expect more from him? Maybe. I did personally. I mean, I predicted double-digit sacks for him. Now he's dealt with injuries this year for sure, but even before the injury, he wasn't playing great. They signed, it's just $14 million on a 1 year kind of a prove it deal. Has he played like a $14 million 1 year guy? Probably not. 2.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 12 tackles. Yeah, it's very underwhelming. And I would label him as a disappointment. I don't know that I'd label him as a bust just because that word connotates that you had a lot of expectations. And I don't know that Jason Light had a ton of expectations for Hassan Reddick. Now, the issue is that was kind of your splash free agent signing, right? You really didn't go get anybody else other than signing your own. And you expected him, I think, to be more of a factor. Again, I predicted double-digit sacks. He's stuck at 2.5 with 3 games to go. He's not going to get double-digit sacks.
That's not good. But also, if you're not going to perform, I mean, maybe do something in the locker room and become a leader. Do something like that as a veteran and being on teams that, a really good culture, from what I'm hearing, a really good locker room culture when he was in Philadelphia with the guys that he had. Yeah. Kind of weeded himself out of that just because whatever reason, who knows, with him getting flipped to the Jets, having a debacle with the Jets, and then coming in here and maybe saying that you're changing, or maybe being a little bit of a leader in the time that this little law period that they didn't play very well, that they needed him.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree. Yeah.
That's how I kind of looked. I'm not definitively saying on the field he's a disappointment, but in my opinion, he certainly is. But what about internally when you're going through these trials and tribulations? It's not going, step up, do something, earn that $14 million. Because if you would have maybe do something like that, maybe you would get extended. But the rate that he was going with the numbers, there certainly can't re-sign him, certainly at that number.
Oh, no. I don't think he's going to be a one and done in Tampa. And look, he kind of set the tone. We talked about this in the offseason. When, what was it? Was it mandatory minicamp that he skipped when he had something else to do and he wasn't showing up? And JP and I and a plethora of others were saying, this is kind of a bad look for a guy that you just signed, that you're trying to make a good impression on the team and the fan base. And now you're not here for mandatory minicamp. And really, there was no explanation. And, I was very positive about it. I said, man, let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe this is something between him and Light, and he had something going on, and this was all planned. But, Todd Bowles at the same time was saying, we just haven't heard from him. So he kind of set the precedent in the offseason to be a huge disappointment, which is what I would label him as this season. I certainly had higher expectations. I know Jason Light had higher expectations at $14 million, especially for a team that desperately needs pass rush help.
Yes.
And he has given you nothing. And that's the most disappointing part, I think, of all of this.
And there had to be red flags. I mean, there had to be red flags coming in just his past 2 stops. And, reclamation project, I don't know. I think the guy's still certainly talented. He keeps himself in shape. I mean, you don't see any off the field stuff that he gets in trouble. I just don't think he has the effort. I don't think that the effort has come. And I think that is transitioned to the team. I think these guys are playing extremely soft.
Yeah.
I see it especially in the secondary. I think they're soft. I'm watching these guys try to tackle, missing tackles. I mean, I mean, I could go down the list. I wrote a list of watching the games. Like, who is this guy? I mean, and I could go down the list. Hassan Reddick is one of them. Bill Dorr, number 22. He's another one. Yeah. I mean, I'm watching this guy Olay tackles, right?
That's the whole secondary.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, man, be physical. What I mean, create something that you're known for.
Yeah.
Physicality could be something that's only cost effort. And that's how I kind of look at the Tampa Bay. If they play a team that's physical in the first round, or if they get to the playoffs, they're going to get swamped. They're going to get their head kicked in.
Yeah, nobody's expecting a good performance, I think, if they end up making the playoffs. But look, I've said all year, this team, as most NFL teams do, sometimes to their detriment, this team has taken on the personality of their head coach.
Yeah.
Very passive. I know he had the outburst. We talked about it with Scott Reynolds yesterday. And look, I took exception on Friday when JP sent me the post-game audio. I'm not talking about the profanity-laden tirade that he did to start the presser. It was when he went up there and said, and I'm summarizing here, that look, as coaches, we've done everything we can do. It's all on the players now. If they're not listening to what we're saying, that's on them. And I took huge exception to that. Scott Reynolds kind of downplayed it. I agree with them. I would be frustrated too. But what I'm looking at is that is the head coach's job to coach. If you can't coach the players up, like any of them, if it was one or two guys, yes, I would blame the player for that. If you as a coaching staff cannot get your guys up to play, if you can't get them to learn the scheme that you're running, if you can't teach them to tackle with their arms and wrap guys up, and you're saying, well, yeah, we tell them to do that, they're just not doing it. It's like all of last season when the secondary was playing so soft and giving receivers so many yards in between, a huge cushion. And we questioned it. Why is Bowles coaching that up? And then Bowles addressed it. Oh, yeah, we don't coach them to do that. That's just something they're doing. That is your job as the head coach, to not let them do that. So you are failing as a head coach. If your guys are not doing what you're telling them to do, and your team sucks, you cannot go blame the players because you're still allowing them to do it. So that's where I took exception with that.
Goes back to my point at the very beginning. I'm saying he lost the locker room. They're not playing with effort. And Todd Bowles has to be the best poker player in the world, because if I said that many F-bombs, I would look a hell of a lot more angry than him, because he didn't even really look angry like he did. There was no body. If I'm saying that many, I mean, I'm running around that press conference, jumping up and down. If I said that many F-bombs, he just stood there, looked like he's very stoic, dropping these. It didn't fit. Like it didn't, the tirade on how his facial expressions and mannerisms didn't fit for me. Is he saying, is he doing this just for, I know he's not, but is he just doing it for show to maybe try to galvanize the locker room? I don't know. But if I said that many F-bombs, man, I'm pulling my hair out. Like I'm doing something besides just standing there dropping bombs.
And I think that was a refreshing change from Bowles. Yeah. Like I appreciated
Out
that. I think it's about 10 weeks too late.
Right.
Probably should have happened sooner, but at the same time, what are you going to do about it, Todd? Like what's going to change now that you went on this profanity-laden tirade in the postgame of a game you should have won that you had in your grasp? By the way, 3rd and 28, 4th and 14 against your defense. What's going to change? Nothing's going to change because he knows he's not going to have a job next year.
Hey, you know a lot of guys in NFL. We all know a lot of guys in NFL being in this business. Played a lot of golf with these guys, NFL coaches, NFL players, and I'm all for coaches saying that they're players coaches. Like a lot of these guys are. There's not a lot of too many hard asses that are coaching these NFL guys anymore. They're not. But when it comes to the point to where that you're a player's coach and your players are taking advantage of you and you're not listening, it's pretty much time not to be a player's coach. Because you're going to lose, your players are going to have you're going to lose your job because you're being a player's coach. Man, you got to get over that. It's just too much. And maybe that's just the disconnect. That's just what I see. Maybe you got to change. Maybe you got to try to change your stripes a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the whole thing's been disappointing. You know, if you're seeing effort from your team, and they're losing, that's one
Big
thing,
difference.
right? I mean,
Big difference.
These guys, you can see an upward trend, you can see effort, and you're just losing to better teams, right? The Bucs are showing no effort, no emotion. After that loss last week on Thursday, when I saw Baker Mayfield, Baker Mayfield, one of the most animated players in the NFL,
right,
standing there on the sideline during that last drive with the most dumbfounded look on his face. Like he was in shock. There was no emotion. There was no anger. There was just nothing. And that's the most dangerous emotion, when you're just passive and you just don't care, right?
Going through the motions.
While you had Mike Evans over there yelling and throwing things. Well,
you want that.
He's just back. That's what I expect to see from everybody. And Mike Evans was literally the only guy showing any of that. And that tells me this team's, they're done. Like they've got nothing left to play for. They still have a 74-point-something% according to ESPN chance of winning the division right now today.
And that's
so
good and all.
Hope here.
You could win the division, that's fine, but you're not going any further than that with the effort that they showed. You want 1 million Mike Evans, right? That's what you want. And I'm not so sure. And there's something else got to happen. I'm sure he's one of the leaders in the locker room. Why aren't they following him? Why aren't they following his emotions? What is in there internally that is just, there's something there. And you made an incredible point. If you show all the effort in the world and leave it all on the field and you get beat by a better team, that's a completely different story. That's a completely different story than the effort that they show now. And listen, I'm not a big Tampa Bay fan. I like Tampa Bay because we cover Tampa Bay and it's good. And I like some of the players on it, but I know what I see outside looking in. I'm not in it with rose-colored glasses and defending them all the time. I'm outside looking. I know what I see when I watch football game. I watch every single football game on Saturday and Sunday. Yep. I know when there's effort, and I know when these guys want to play, and I know when these guys are checked out and don't want to play, and that's what I see from the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Let's take JP yells at me when I don't break on time, even though he rarely does. Let's take our second break here of the show. We're going to come back. Still need to get into those coaching candidates for everybody. Who do you want to replace Bowles if, in fact, something like that happens? And then, obviously, I've got some Joel Klatt audio talking about the college football playoff, and he throws a little dig at March Madness as well. If you haven't heard this, Johnny, you're in for a treat. We'll see if you agree, because I kind of agree with him.
Okay.
JP Peterson Show brought to you by all of our great sponsors, Riveters, Italiano Insurance, Golden Diamond Source, On-Site Construction, Third Generation Plumbing. Me and Johnny's favorite restaurant in Tampa, fine dining restaurant at Cafe Paradiso. I can still taste that lasagna and that veal piccata that I had in October. It's been over a year now. We need to get back up there. Back after this on the JP Peterson Show.
Holidays are the best time to get engaged because all the family's already together. And at the Golden Diamond Source, they have thousands of diamonds to choose from in their jewelry wonderland. Looking for a gift that says forever? Find stunning engagement rings, diamond earrings, diamond bracelets, the most stylish gold fashion jewelry. And there's plenty for men in their new men's section and watch department. There's something for everyone on your list. And don't settle for anything less than perfection. At the Golden Diamond Source, they make it easy to give a gift they'll never forget. They wrap it up nice for you. You don't have to do any of that, guys. And they have a great staff there. You may not know what to get your lovely wife or girlfriend, but they do. Let them do the work. Hey, finance your purchase for 0% interest for up to 5 years. You could get a $5,000 diamond for only $84 a month. Don't go to the mall. Go to a local company and keep it local this Christmas at the Golden Diamond Source. 3800 Ulmerton Road. Always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Some love you give only at Golden Diamond Source.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club. JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports, 10 to noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. Normally with a guy who knows a lot about things in JP Peterson, but again, he's off either transitioning, Rick, or he's either having his bionic spine implant put in today, or he may finally be taking care of the mouth herpes. One of those, I'm not sure. He's been very secretive about all of this. And in fact, did not even tell us about this until like yesterday. So I kind of found out when you guys found out. But you've got me and Johnny to take you for the next hour to close out the show. Tomorrow, by the way, boys and girls, Nick Geddes will take you for the full 2 hours. If you're a fan of the Nick Geddes-led show, then you're in for a treat tomorrow. And JP claims that he should be back for Friday. I'm not. So you may have me again on Friday, but JP claims he should be good to go. So we'll see. I'm not fully convinced of that. But either way, you've got me and Johnny today. And as I mentioned at the onset, you guys are in for a treat. And we've given you a treat. Not a trick. Let's continue with our Bucs theme here, Johnny. I'd like to offer you, as we are hopeful for the rest of their season, I'd like to give you 3 players who I think are on the hot seat. We've talked about Bowles as a coach. I've got 3 players on the hot seat, one of which, well, really 2 of which we've touched on already. One of them is somewhat, it was a very difficult decision to put him on the list, but I think he needs to be on the list. We'll start with a guy that I've been very critical of for the last 2 seasons. And a place where I think the Buccaneers offense desperately needs an upgrade. If you want to talk about a bust, I don't know if he's a bust. Again, that's kind of based on expectations, and I don't know what Jason Light's expectations were for this guy heading into the draft or out of the draft. It is tight end Cade Otton. I think he has been horrific this season. I think that he was borderline horrific last season. And the main part of his horrific play is all based on his drops. He forgot how to catch the ball. Maybe he never knew. I don't know. There's a different ball in college than there is in the pros. And maybe he just can't catch a pro ball. I don't know. But he's been horrible. He's in his 4th year. He's failed to kind of break through like I thought the Bucs think he would have as their star stud pass catching tight end. He's never become a red zone threat. He's never been a reliable target. Through 15 weeks this year, he's posting career low numbers, just 46 catches for 430 yards and 0 touchdowns. He's averaging just over 30 yards receiving per game. His inconsistency, I think, mirrors that of the entire Bucs offense. And again, if you can't catch the ball in the rare occasion it's thrown to you, then to quote one of my favorite movies, what would you say you do here? So he's a decent blocker.
Yeah.
That's not why he was drafted. All the other tight ends on the roster are decent blockers. Some of them are better than him. So if you can't catch, you can't score, you're not a receiving threat. Again, Cade, what would you say you do here? I don't understand why. I don't understand the people that defend him because JP has been a defender of him, I think, maybe until this year.
Yeah.
Johnny, thoughts on Cade?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a guy like, the Tampa Bay really hasn't been tight end centric anyways. You have so many other options that you kind of rely on with the, with the exit of the hurt of some of the receivers like Mike Evans, Bucky Irving getting hurt, maybe the running game didn't set up the pass game, but look at a guy like Cade Otton. If you're an average blocker, you have to do something spectacular. And then with them targeting you, hopefully targeting you more with Mike Evans not being there, this is your opportunity to prove something, right? That you're going to have some opportunities since these guys are out to prove it. And he just hasn't done it. Obviously the stats are underwhelming, especially on something that they may have kind of wanted to rely on him, but Tampa's never really been a tight end centric, football team anyways. But that being said, this was your opportunity, man, to step up. And he certainly didn't do that.
No. And as Aviation points out, it's hard to not think that Culp is already equal to Cade. I'm a big fan of Devin Culp. I was a big fan of that draft pick. And I think he's tied into the future. I don't know what Cade's contract situation is. I didn't look, but I know he's probably pretty close to the end of his deal. And I don't think the Bucs keep him.
4 years is plenty of time to prove yourself.
If for a tight end, right? Especially in this. And again, now we've seen, and this is going to be attached to one of my other players on the hot seat. Your offense has had 4 different offensive coordinators the last 4 years. So not a lot of consistency there, but the schemes really have not changed that much. They've stayed fairly consistent. So scheme, terminology, they've been pretty consistent. But I think the Bucs need a desperate upgrade at tight end. My second guy on the hot seat, and Johnny, you mentioned him, Hassan Reddick. He was brought in here, like I said, on a 1-year prove-it deal to really revitalize his career. And he needed to play well. He needed to do everything right on and off the field. And like I said, coming into the season, missing the mandatory minicamp really with no reason, no excuse, no warning, at least for the fans, and the team seemed to be a little baffled by it as well. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt and said, look, if he plays lights out this year, none of that's going to matter. Well, he hasn't. And I think it does. And not only has he not revitalized his career, he is costing himself millions and millions of dollars with his lack of ability to get to the quarterback this season. In what breaks down to a contract here, really, whether it was going to be with the Bucs or somebody else, you go up and throw 8, 9, 10, 11 sacks up, someone's going to pay you a lot of money next year. And he hasn't taken advantage of that situation.
Yeah, I mean, kind of same. We talked about it earlier, kind of same thing. If you're not performing on the field, and all these GMs and all these coaches talk, maybe you need to step up a little bit in the locker room and be a positive influence on the locker room, coming from a culture where Philadelphia was really good at that. So not only did you underperform on the field, the expectations that you had maybe to be a leader on this team, when certainly right now it's time to be a leader, he failed in that category also. And I think his physical traits are still there. Does he really want to play football? It doesn't really seem like it. His effort's not there. His effort hasn't been there in the last couple of years. Now you take that and you said, man, he's not really a locker room guy either. Man, that's 3 strikes with me. I mean, it'd be hard pressed for me to believe he will be with Tampa or with anybody else last year, unless he's just getting a league minimum. But even that, the guy's getting $14 million and he's not playing hard. You give him a league minimum, how you think he's going to play? Probably not hard either.
Yeah, absolutely. Nathan Elliott, Cade Otton catches the ball when he's option number 1 on the play. When he's 3 or 4, the play does not. On the play, he does poorly. Last year when he was option number 1, he balled out and just doesn't expect to get the ball. Well, that's great, Nathan, but his job is to catch the ball when it's thrown to him, regardless of where he is in the rotation for the quarterback, right? So tight ends are rarely the first option on plays. There's not a ton of plays except for maybe a seam route or a tight end screen where the tight end is the first option. And go ahead, Johnny.
You would think it'd be the opposite, right? Because if you're first option, you're going to get double teamed and you're going to get schemed against. Yeah. Now that you're third or fourth option, you basically have 10, 15 yards of no one covering you. So you would think it would be a little bit easier when you're not the number 1 option to have some performance.
Yeah, and then Thomas Casper, Cade is rarely used in the end zone, although he is as good as tight end Gronk. I'm assuming you mean Gronk, and there's no way he's anywhere close to Gronk. Gronk never dropped the ball.
No.
Gronk was your first option sometimes on the goal line. The reason Cade is not used in the end zone and in the red zone much is because they have zero faith in him catching the ball.
Correct.
And that's a result of his play. Now, talking about Cade Otton has got me all worked up, Johnny. I'm doing another one right here.
How about it?
As we're going at it, and that's 10:15. I might need to call an Uber.
And if you want to talk about how to be a best friend's quarterback, catch some of those balls that maybe you shouldn't catch and get some trust in your quarterback. Tom Brady talked about that all the time. All the good quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers talk about that all the time. Get some security that they're going to catch the ball. And I certainly don't think Cade Otton has that ability to give the trust in Baker Mayfield. He's going to throw it to him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason when Tom Brady signed with Tampa Bay, he wanted to bring Gronk with him.
That's right.
That's the reason, because they had such great chemistry, and he had faith that Gronk could catch the ball, and he was right.
Correct. Yep.
So that tells you all you need to know. Now, my third player on the hot seat, Johnny. Again, this was tough for me to do. There's a number of players I could put on this list. Who was it that said, Chris Cole says Antoine Winfield Jr. 100% is on the hot seat, even off of a new contract. And then Nathaniel Elliott, again, Josh Grizzard could be on the hot seat, and he probably is, but there's other reasons I think for that. His play calling has not been great, and I talked about a little bit of that on Friday, and I'll get into that here just a second as we get into my third player on the hot seat, and it's my favorite Buck. It's my favorite quarterback. It's Baker. Look, I'm the biggest Baker supporter, Baker lover. I've told you guys time and time again, I covered Baker at Texas Tech when he was a walk-on, right? When he lost the job to Mahomes and he left to go to the Sooners to walk on and become a Heisman winner. I own 2 Cleveland Brown jerseys. One is Johnny Manziel, and the other one is Baker Mayfield. That should tell you how much I love Baker Mayfield, his play, his contributions to the community wherever he's playing. None of that is in question. And all that we have done is hype up Baker Mayfield since he's come to Tampa. His stats, his play has improved every single season until this year. We know he's dealing with injuries. He's dealt with injuries the whole time he's been here. Maybe not to this point, but yes, he's dealt with injuries. Everybody does. Yes, he is on his 3rd straight different offensive coordinator. That is true. However, Baker Mayfield has dealt with that his entire freaking career, including college. Definitely with the Browns. And then Carolina. And then the few weeks he spent with the Rams before he went to Tampa Bay. He's dealt with that. Is Baker's poor play a product of Josh Grizzard and his play calling? I would attribute a small amount of that to that factor. However, we have seen how uncomfortable Baker Mayfield has been in the pocket the last half of this season. We've seen his decision-making not be great. And look, it's never great. But I would say it's been downright ugly over the past couple of months. So yes, Josh Grizzard has a little bit to do with that, but I think something's wrong with Baker. I think he's probably hurt more. JP and I have discussed, why the hell did you go out and get Teddy Bridgewater if you're going to make Baker play hurt? Because even a 50% Teddy Bridgewater's not going to be as bad as a 20% Baker Mayfield. If you're going to lose, you're going to lose. I would rather lose and let Baker be sitting on the sideline healing and get him back to 100% at some point than suffer through what we've suffered through. He's looked flustered in the pocket for 2 months. He struggled on throws more than 10 yards down the field the last two, really all year, but the last 2 months especially. And we know he's dealt with different wide receivers. It's part of the game. He's got great chemistry. Look at the chemistry he had with Emeka Egbuka to start the season. Where did that go? That's gone. They look like each one has never even met each other the last few weeks. After that 6-2 start, man, he's struggled. And again, I'm not saying on the hot seat and you need to get rid of him. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying Baker's got to be better. And Baker will be the first one to tell you that. There's no question. And I think he can. He's gonna post lows in every statistical category since he's been with Tampa Bay this year. Touchdowns, yards, all of that. Was he at 22 touchdowns and he had 47 or 42 or something last year? That's not great. 7 interceptions, that's also probably going to be a low, which is fine. But Baker's got to be better. He's due for a contract next year. I think it's, I never would have thought 2 months ago that we'd be talking about Tampa Bay moving on from Baker. If Baker has another subpar season next year under whoever the coach is, whoever the OC is, certainly he's not back in Tampa. And I don't want that. I'd love to see him finish his career there and play for the next, 8-9 years.
So for you to say Baker's on the hot seat, I'd put a couple other guys on the hot seat before Baker. Here's what I look at when I see it. When you lose 3 of your top 6 probably best players all at one time, when you had Worse out, Bucky Irvin out, and Mike Evans out, 3 of your probably 6 best players out at the same time, you're searching for things. You're trying to figure out something. And when you're searching for things as a quarterback, that's when you get hurt and you have injuries. Yep. People on that offensive line, this is what happens. You're trying to do so much for your team because you have so many of these, like I said, 3 of the top 6 players in your team all out. You're trying to do too much. I think Baker's this year is just a product of him trying to do too much for a team that he knows was depleted. Yep. All at the same time with your people. I don't think Baker's on the hot seat. I think Baker just needs to say, hey, man, listen, I don't have to be Superman. I know I might have to be Superman to win games like Josh Allen, but this little stretch, I'd rather kind of let's see what happens. And if we win a couple games, if we lose a couple games, but I'm going to stay healthy for that down stretch. That's what I see from Baker Mayfield. Yeah. I think he's just tried to do too much on a team that just had people in the skill positions that you need. I think it's the same thing with Egbuka. Now you got Egbuka out there who looked great at the beginning of the year. And listen, I'm a Egbuka fan. I think he's super talented. I think he was a front runner for rookie of the year, probably the first half of the season. But again, you're looking at when you don't have to worry about the run and you have a receiver that's not with Mike Evans that's out also. Now Egbuka is getting double teamed. Right now, he's getting schemed for just a lot like the tight end is getting schemed for when you lose these people. So I think I wouldn't put quite Baker on the hot seat. I would just put Baker in the expectation he's trying to do too much. He's trying to be Josh Allen on a team that you don't really need to, man. Let things play out because he's certainly not going to do him any good when he's hurt and he's on the bench. And I think he's a little bit more hurt than what people think.
Well, yeah, and at some point as the team, you have to protect Baker from himself.
Yes.
And that's what I'm talking about. Let him sit out. Make Bridgewater start. If you don't like what Bridgewater is showing you, and he has not looked good, by the way, he was horrible against the Rams. And so if you signed Bridgewater and you're not going to play him, then go sign somebody else. Go get 44-year-old Phillip Rivers, because he was certainly ready to come back. Go find somebody else. And there's going to be a whole litany of people who are saying, go sign Colin Kaepernick. He's still available. That's just trash, guys. Y'all stop.
Yeah. I mean, you look at, like I said, you lost 3 of your most important people. Worse, Evans, Bucky, Irvin at the same time. Yeah. You're not going to be very good. You're not going to be. And there's going to be more pressure on Baker Mayfield. And again, but that's just Baker being Baker his whole life. He thinks he can be Superman. You know, he's proven it time and time again. He can put it on his shoulders a lot. But that era of when those guys are all out at the same time didn't bode well for Baker, and that's why he got hurt. Not hot seat for me. I think it's just an opportunity that it was unfortunate and he just tried to do too much.
That's all right. You're allowed to be wrong. It's not a big deal. Thomas Casper, Baker obviously playing injured, win 2, and rest the 3rd going into wild card. Look, we talked about it. You're tied with the Panthers. You have 2 games left. Even if you tie record-wise, you win the division by virtue of the tiebreakers. So is Baker going to get rest before that? I don't think so. I think it would have already happened.
Right.
Nathan Elliott, I did not like the Bridgewater signing. I thought the Bucs could have strayed with Trask. Could not have been worse. Okay, I will disagree 100% with you, Nathan Elliott. We saw Kyle Trask. And yes, he could have been way worse, and I think he would have been way worse than Teddy Bridgewater. I think that experiment was failed, and Jason Light knew it, even though he just gave him a freaking extension in the offseason.
You saw 3 or 4 years of Trask. You know what he is. If you thought he could have done it, if they thought he could have done it, they wouldn't have signed Bridgewater. That's really simple.
I mean, the argument in Tampa is that he never really played, right? He played behind Brady, who never got hurt and never missed. And then he played behind Baker, who never really got hurt. And so we never really saw him in real-time game situations. But I feel like that's by design. I think the team pretty much knew what they had, and they weren't going to.
They know what he is. They know what he is.
Yeah, he's up there with most Florida Gators quarterbacks who can't make it in the NFL.
And who traded for him?
Nobody traded for him. What do you mean?
Exactly my point.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, who was it? The Raiders, I think, signed him to the practice squad, but I don't think he's there anymore, or he's still stuck on the practice squad. So
you can't make the Raiders. You can't play for anybody.
The fact that no team was interested in getting him, I'm sure when Jason Light made him available before they cut him, should tell you a lot. And Nathan, I did like the Teddy Bridgewater signing. Like there's the history between him and Jason Light. They wanted to draft him, but they didn't. And those two have stayed in touch. And when it came time for what they thought was an upgrade at backup quarterback, Bridgewater seemed like a natural fit. He played well with the Lions in his last stop. I had nothing against the signing. I think the quarterback market right now is really, really thin. I don't know. By virtue of Indy going and signing freaking Phillip Rivers off of his couch, right? That should tell you something right there.
Knows the system, reliable, doesn't make mistakes. That's all you want from your backup.
And has a history with your offensive coordinator when they were both in Miami.
Yeah, knows the system. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. So those are my players on the hot seat. Let's, before we get into our last break of the show, JP, I'm trying to stay on time for you. Let's talk head coaching cycle, Johnny. Let's talk if Todd Bowles gets his head lopped off in the offseason. Let's talk who might replace him. And I'm not going in any particular order here. I'm not going from who I think is best to worst. But there are a number of names, and you guys have thrown out your names there for on the chat. We'll get into some of those. But there's a lot of guys, some probably more desirable than others. And I think maybe the guy that would be most desirable by a lot of teams, maybe not the Bucs, and maybe not, in my opinion. But I think at some point, Joe Brady's going to get an opportunity, the Bills OC. We know what he did at LSU, and we know what he's done with the Bills, although they're not having a great season. Played wide receiver in college, and he's only 36. He's still fairly young, but that's kind of the trend now, right? Is for teams to go young, mid-30s, late 30s for guys. And I don't know that that's the best idea, but the reason it's happening is because we've had a number of guys work out. Look, Tomlin was hired in his 30s. Sean McVay was hired in his 30s. And you're afraid if you don't go get this guy that you think has a chance to be a good coach, and he's, 32, 36 years old, well, somebody else might grab him before I do. So I think teams are steering into that trend. Well, hell, I got to go get him because somebody else might, and we'll just hope it works out. And I hate that. I hate that more than anything, but that's where we are in the NFL. Joe Brady, I think he's earned a spot. Will he be great? Will he be good? I have no idea. Again, a lot of guys are really, really good coordinators, and it doesn't transition, right?
Well, Josh Allen's going to make you look good also, right? So, that's going to help a little bit. Yeah, I think if you look at Joe Brady, I don't mind that. Maybe in the Joe Brady mold. I mean, if you look at the division, Carolina, Atlanta, New Orleans, Tampa, and that you have the weapons that you have, I would be super structured to go get an offensive guy. I mean, this is where the league's going. You got to score some points. You're playing in a division that's very warm weather divisions. You got to score some points. It's not like you're playing, in the Cleveland, Pittsburgh, where running the game, defense is okay. The league is trending to offensive guys, especially when you have the weapons that you have for Tampa Bay. So looking to whether it's Joe Brady or somebody else, I think you certainly need to be looking at an offensive-minded coordinator or offensive-minded old head coach.
Yeah, and, everybody wants an offensive-minded head coach now. The defensive coordinators getting head coaching jobs, that's kind of going by the wayside. And, it's not going to stop, but that's kind of where we're at. Joe Brady will get his opportunity. The next guy on the list here, Patriots passing game coordinator and tight end coach Thomas Brown. Again, another offensive guy. He's 39 years old. He used to play in the league. If you're a longtime Bucs fan, you'll know him when he played for the Falcons. Running back, his pro injury got cut short due to injury, and he went right into coaching. He won a Super Bowl with the Rams with Sean McVay, who he's been lifelong friends with. Apparently, they were high school football rivals. And I think he's going to get an opportunity at some point. I don't know if it'll be in this cycle, but he's certainly on the list.
I lost you there.
Working on it. How about now?
Perfect.
Got me? What's going on today with the electricity? It's only like 40 outside. It's not terribly cold.
Shouldn't be bad.
But I can't believe a guy named Jim Bob Cooter is going to be an NFL head coach. We've had some crazy names in the NFL, that's for sure. But, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. But Jim Bob Cooter will get a chance for sure. Declan Doyle, Bears offensive coordinator. He's only 29, Johnny, and he is being talked about as a potential head coach next year. At 29. That's too young, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting some looks just because of the transformation of Caleb Williams. I mean, is that I think that's more of a Ben Johnson thing than the coordinator thing. So,
Sure.
pump your brakes a little bit on that. Give him another year, because if Caleb Williams falters next year, you're not going to ever hear about that guy again. So,
staying on the offensive side of the ball, and I'll tell you, I'm not sure how I feel about this. I would tend to snub at this immediately, but one of the names that NFL.com is throwing around as a potential head coach, and I think it's just because of where he comes from and the history of that coordinator position the last couple of years, Josh Grisard. Someone's saying that he could be elevated to head coach somewhere, and it could be the Bucs. Is there any chance Jason Light fires Todd Bowles and brings Josh Grisard to the head coaching position after 1 year as an OC, and it wasn't that great of a year?
it won't get better if they do. I mean, obviously.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think that's trash.
Yeah, he's not there yet. Now a guy I think realistically that could come to Tampa, Seattle Seahawks OC Clint Kubiak, the son, of course, of a friend of our other show, Gary Kubiak. Good Aggie, longtime Bronco. Gary Kubiak, I never thought was a great head coach. I thought he was a good coordinator. And you wonder if Clint maybe will fall into that mold or if he will break that trend from his dad. He could be a better head coach than he was a coordinator. He played in the league, but he played on defense. He didn't play on offense.
Right.
So I like Clint Kubiak. I think he gets a shot here. Will it be in Tampa? I don't know. Someone in the comments brought up Mike LaFleur. I think and look, we have a lot of Rams assistants here. Mike LaFleur, Chris Shula. I'm a big fan of Chris Shula, obviously the family tree. Hopefully he's better than David. But we saw some disastrous teams that David Shula had coached. But yeah, certainly Chris Shula at the 39 years old is on that list. For some reason, Kevin Patullo is getting talk of getting a head coaching job. Of course, USF star. He's got Tampa ties. He has not been great with the Eagles this year, though, as an offensive coordinator. And it just boggles my mind how guys that have had lackluster seasons as an OC, especially in their first season, Grizzard, Patullo, how they're talked about as potential head coaches. I don't understand that at all. Drew Petzig and Nick Rallis, both coordinators in Arizona. I don't know that we're ever going to say that Jonathan Gannon had the greatest head coaching tree in NFL history. Both of those guys certainly have potential. Zach Robinson, Falcons OC. Again, what did he do as an OC in Atlanta this year? I know he's dealt with a lot of injuries too, and he's kind of known as a quarterback instructor, but I don't know that he's ready. And all of these guys on this list are young. Like the oldest person that's on this list of like 20 people is 44 years old.
I'm going to throw a name out there that you haven't mentioned. I'm not sure if you're done with your list yet, but
yeah, go ahead.
And it goes kind of the opposite of what we talked about earlier of an offensive coordinator. Now, if you think that your offense and you can bring in a good coordinator that supports you and go on the defensive side and you're worried about the effort and you want to really tighten up your defense, I'm telling you right now, Robert Saleh is going to get a head coaching job next year.
And I think he should.
And
I don't know if it'll be next year, but he'll get another opportunity. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think what he has done with the defense of all the depleted defensive players that they've had for San Francisco and still have an opportunity to make the playoffs and still have a team that's very viable. Look at a guy, if you want to stay on the defensive side of the ball, like Robert Saleh, to come in and really kick these guys in the ass and play with some heart and some, depleted best players out in San Francisco, and you still have a pretty dominant defense. That could bode well in Tampa if you want a guy like that and stay on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, and another guy that's not on the list that I found that I'm a big fan of, and I'm a Brian Schottenheimer fan right now in Dallas. I'd like to see what he can do over the next few years with maybe a proper defensive coordinator on staff, and we'll probably have that change here in Dallas next year. As Matt Eberflus is being pre-fired by everybody here in Dallas. Yeah. Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
I think Marcus Freeman's next stop is the NFL. And I'm pretty impressed with what he did with Brian Kelly's crew when Kelly said, I can't win a national championship here at Notre Dame. And everybody laughed at him when he went to LSU, including me. I said that was going to be a disaster, and it was. But man, Marcus Freeman took what Brian Kelly had already what he had, and he made it way better. And then, of course, he added to it through his recruiting skills. But I think Marcus Freeman will get an opportunity in the NFL here in the next, maybe not this time around in 26, but I mean, whenever he's ready to move on, I think he'll have offers for sure.
Yes. And it seems like the right fit, right? The transition. Yeah. He seems like an NFL guy, just the way he carries himself. I think the clout that he has, I think he's going to be a great NFL. Jesse, I see with Nathan Elliott, Jesse Minter is a great.
Yeah.
That's something he's certainly going to get a head coaching job. But yeah, I like your sentiment on Marcus Freeman.
Yeah, and Nathan Elliott put Steve Spagnuolo on there from the Chiefs. I don't think that's ever happening. I think he is a lifelong coordinator. He did not make it well as a head coach in his only opportunity, and I'm not sure he wants to do that again. He's getting up there in age. I think he is content with where he is as a coordinator. and he is damn good at his job.
He's not going anywhere.
I don't think if Andy Reid retires at some point, he's offered that with the Chiefs, and maybe he'll take that because it's the Chiefs. But I don't think he's leaving Kansas City to take another head coaching job outside of Kansas City. I just think that's where he is in his station.
Yeah, they're not going to let him go. The Hunt family's not going to let him go. So his next transition will be taking over the Andy Reid position, just having a little bit of the pulse here in Kansas City. That's the normal kind of way they want to go with Spagnuolo. I think he's very comfortable. I think they'll pay him as much as they want to pay him to keep him. Andy Reid's not going to let him go. He's already had opportunities and he's turned down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if he was going to take those opportunities, being a little bit younger, but maybe over the past 4, 5, 6 years, he would have taken those already. I think he's comfortable, especially with Mahomes there.
Yeah.
Take away Mahomes getting hurt, but Spagnuolo is not going anywhere.
Nope, I believe you're right, and he's probably comfortable there. And like I said, there's a lot of guys that are great coordinators that just can't be head coaches. One of my favorite people to make a run through Dallas here, a couple of them were Norv Turner and Dave Wannstedt. As coordinators at the time in Dallas, there was no one better.
Right.
Norv Turner had multiple opportunities to be a head coach, and he failed miserably at every opportunity. Dave Wannstedt had a couple of opportunities. He didn't get it done. But both guys known as great coordinators, and that's okay. Look, if that's what you do it well. And I get taking the chance and trying it for your first time, and maybe even a second time. That doesn't mean you're going to be good at it.
Right.
And that's where we are with all that. All right, final break. We're late. JP's going to probably do something to me. I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe make me look at his growth, his girth improvement that he had done. I don't know. That's your job, though, because you've already volunteered.
No, sir. No, sir.
And we're going to get all that on video, too. JP Show brought to you, as always, by Riveters, Italiano Insurance, Golden Diamond Source, On-Site Construction, Third Generation Plumbing, Cafe Paradiso, of course, Genesis of Tampa. All of our great sponsors here on the JP Peterson Show. We appreciate you very, very much. Back in 5 minutes, 7 seconds.
Italiano Insurance would like to congratulate the Bucs on their 50th anniversary season. And you know what? We've been here for every season and then some, over 60 years in business. We've seen some smart coaches with great game plans, but if you don't have flood insurance or business insurance, that's a terrible game plan. That could ruin you financially. You don't want to take that L. So call 813-877-7799 and let their friendly agents quarterback your insurance and save you big money. Italiano also sponsors our FSU report every week, so go Noles. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. At Genesis of Tampa, they got some serious ho-ho-ho going on this Christmas. It's the Miracle Holiday Sales Event and their 30 days of giving. First, for any new vehicle in the month of December sold, first payment will be deferred 90 days, and then the dealership will make the first payment up to $500. That can save you a lot of cash that you can use for Christmas shopping. And every day in December, they're giving away a $500 shopping spree. All you got to do is have your car appraised, and you get an entry into the daily drawing for the $500 shopping spree. And every weekend day in December, customers simply need to stop by the dealership, scan the QR code, and they get an entry into the $500 shopping spree contest. No purchase necessary. Test drive a vehicle, and we will 10x your entry into the shopping spree. Christmas and New Year's Eve, each holiday, if a customer books a test drive for the specified day, they will receive a themed t-shirt, limited edition, as well as an additional $250 off the purchase price. Bottom line is, get your butt and your sleigh down to Genesis of Tampa, 801 East Bears Avenue, just off 275. It's going to be a big Christmas at Genesis of Tampa. Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. You know, holidays are the best time to get engaged because all the family's already together. And at the Golden Diamond Source, they have thousands of diamonds to choose from in their jewelry wonderland. Looking for a gift that says forever? Find stunning engagement rings, diamond earrings, diamond bracelets, the most stylish gold fashion jewelry. And there's plenty for men in their new men's section and watch department. There's something for everyone on your list. And don't settle for anything less than perfection. At the Golden Diamond Source, they make it easy to give a gift they'll never forget. They wrap it up nice for you. You don't have to do any of that, guys. And they have a great staff there. You may not know what to get your lovely wife or girlfriend, but they do. Let them do the work. Hey, finance your purchase for 0% interest for up to 5 years. You could get a $5,000 diamond for only $84 a month. Don't go to the mall. Go to a local company and keep it local this Christmas at the Golden Diamond Source. 3800 Ulmerton Road. Always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Some love you give only at Golden Diamond Source.
Hey, think about the greatest tandems in sports. Montana to Rice, Brady to Gronk, Baker to Mike Evans. Well, here's a new one. Third-generation plumbing and American Standard heating and cooling units. Our split systems offer the highest efficiency available while reducing energy bills and maximizing comfort. Third-generation plumbing can handle anything mechanical around the house, plumbing, AC, whatever, and they install the best American Standard heating and cooling units. Built to last, made to perform. Whether it's a new install or an emergency repair, our family-owned team brings 3 generations of trusted service to your home, now with the unmatched reliability of American Standard heating and cooling. So don't wait for the summer heat to return. We've got you covered. Call Third Generation Plumbing and American Standard Heating and Cooling, 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, wrapping things up here on an IndyCarTim Takeover Wednesday with substitute teacher John PGA of America member Gerber, or as we affectionately refer to him here in the Dallas studio when he's not here, Gani Gerber.
You come up with so many different things. I don't even know. I don't even look anymore.
You used to yell at me on the golf show when I would come up with, and I would usually it's just off the top of my head. Like I never thought about these things ahead of time, but
I know.
Now you just sort of submit and take it. You're just like spreading your legs and you're like, yep, shove it right up there. I'm not even going to fight it anymore.
No, I still fight it. I just don't let you get that close.
You're probably smart in that. So while we have PGA of America member Gani Gerber here, let's talk a little golf. As the PGA Tour just released their award winners for the big ones, the Player of the Year and the Rookie of the Year. And I took exception on this on the golf show when they announced the finalists. Good grief.
Flesh. That's a Jaeger.
Jaeger's coming right back up. Especially, well, really with both the Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year, because I don't like how they do things. And I don't ever agree with the way the PGA Tour does things, obviously. But so let's talk about the finalists before we give you your winner that we had for the Rookie of the Year. We had Michael Brennan, Stephen Fisk, Aldrich Puttgeiter, Carl Phillips, and William Mao.
Wow, what a star-studded list.
So, well, they're rookies. I mean, they're not supposed to be household names, although Michael Brennan made a name for himself because the issue I have with him being on the list is Stephen Fisk played in 27 tournaments, 1 win. William Mao played in 24 tournaments, 1 win. Putt Guider played in 20 tournaments, 1 win. Carl Phillips, 21 tournaments, 1 win. And they all had 2 to 3 top 10s. Obviously, no majors, no major top 10s for these rookies. Michael Brennan, Johnny.
1-1.
Also 1 win and 1 top 10 in 4 events.
Yeah.
He played in 4 events to everyone else's 20 plus, and he's on the list for the Rookie of the Year. That cannot happen. I don't like that. You got to have 20 tournaments minimum to even qualify for this thing.
That's
in
fair.
my opinion.
That's
now,
fair.
I know that he has the same amount of wins as these guys. I get it. But you got to have, to be a rookie, to be considered for a rookie award like in Major League Baseball, you have to have so many at-bats, right? You got to qualify. Well, you can't qualify for Rookie of the Year on the PGA Tour with 4 starts.
Well, I'll give you a better reason why not. He wasn't a PGA Tour member until he won. Mm-hmm. So, not being a PGA Tour member and then winning Rookie of the Year, because if he doesn't win the tournament, he finishes second, he's not a PGA Tour member.
Right.
So,
and he wouldn't have been, it wouldn't even have been considered.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you look at something like that. Yeah. I mean, Pot Geeter got it. He probably deserved it. He was in contention a lot more, especially at the very beginning of the year. And he's a guy, I'm not saying this matters or should matter in terms of voting, but it actually does for the people who vote for these things is Pot Geeter moves the needle.
Right.
In terms of how he plays, things like that. So they got it right when they had Rookie of the Year.
Well, and here's another issue I have. Scoring average. Michael Brennan didn't even qualify to have a scoring average list.
Not enough rounds.
That's
right.
Stephen Fisk, with his 1 win, 2 top 10s, 70.75 scoring average. Good enough for 77th on the tour.
Yep.
William Mao, 1 win, 3 top 10s, 70.79 scoring average, 82nd in the league. Pot Geeter, 71.15, 122nd in the league. And Carl Phillips, 71.32, 137th in the league. If you've got a scoring average over 70, over 71, you should not be considered for Rookie of the Year.
Little skewed. Be careful when you little skewed. U.S. Open. That's sure it does. Sure it matters. Sure it matters.
And look, I also think for both of these, now before I get to how I fix this, let's get into.
Well, you're going to be wrong, but go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, no, there's no question. I'm going to be wrong. But being wrong, it's going to make for great TV.
Maybe.
So in your PGA Tour Player of the Year, as if there was going to be any question, in the most ridiculous season ever by an idiot golfer. Here were your finalists.
Scotty Scheffler,
Rory McIlroy, Tommy Fleetwood, who never won a tournament his entire career until the last one last season, and Ben Griffin. So I don't necessarily have a problem with all of these guys being, and Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy, they're pretty much perennial nominees, right, for this thing. Tommy Fleetwood just won his first tournament. He had 8 top 10s. Did not have any major wins, obviously. No top 10s in the majors. Had a 69.36 scoring average, which was third. So these 4 players had the top 4 in scoring average, which I think is kind of the one thing you need to take into consideration for sure. Right?
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler won 6 tournaments, and he didn't even start playing golf because he had the hand herpes that he shared with Jordan Spieth, because those Longhorns give each other hand herpes apparently when they're doing the hook'ems. He didn't even play until Pebble Beach was his first tournament. And he wins 6. He plays 20 events, 17 top 10s, 2 major wins, 4 top 10s in majors, top 10 in all 4 majors this year. But I don't think that the best player in golf that year, I know it's the Player of the Year award, right? But if you're just going to give it to Scotty Scheffler every year, and he's now won, what, 4 straight?
3 straight, 4 straight.
It's his 4th overall. So it had to be 4 straight. I mean, because he hadn't been playing that long. But if you're just going to give it to the best player, I don't feel like that's Player of the Year. I think Player of the Year is someone who did something like what Rory did, where he capped off his career Grand Slam. And then, you know, that stuff doesn't happen every season. You don't have a guy like that. But look, if you're the best golfer of the year and you won 2 majors and you won 6 tournaments and your scoring average was sub 69, like just barely above 68, you're the best golf. That needs to be just its own thing. If you want a PGA Tour Player of the Year, like I get nominating Rory, I get nominating Tommy Fleetwood, because although he's had a great career, he just broke through with his first win. It just so happened to be the Tour Championship. That's kind of a big deal. Ben Griffin, 3 wins on the tour, coming in at the very comical 69.69 for a scoring average. He probably did that on purpose. Top 10 in 2 majors, 12 top 10s overall. Yeah, I can see that, especially finishing 4th in scoring average. So Rory McIlroy, Tommy Fleetwood, Ben Griffin, I get. You need to take Scotty Scheffler out of the equation for golf Player of the Year. I think he should just have his own thing. To me. Now, here's how I fix all of this, Johnny. You want to keep Scotty in with these 4? Great. We're going to do that. You want to keep Michael Brennan in, your Rookie of the Year? Great. We're going to have 5 guys. Here's how you fix it, Johnny. You take those 5 rookies and you take the 4 Player of the Year nominees. Let's go put them in one of these badass indoor golf facilities, these indoor putt-putt places that are also a bar, right? And you go put them head to head. You take the 4. First, you have to televise. You're going to do it on TV, and you got to do the 5 rookies first. They're going to go first. After every hole, the 4, in this situation, the 4 losers have to do a shot in between each hole. Next hole, the 4 lose, and if it's all tied, everybody does a shot. If there's not an outright winner or 2, then everybody does a shot. You go through all 18 indoor putt-putt bar cantina holes. The guy with the lowest score wins. And that's who wins Rookie of the Year. Do the same thing. Now we're in prime time. So we started at 4 o'clock on a Saturday for the rookies. By the time they're done and passing out and the ambulance comes for all of them who are drunk, now we're getting into prime time. You start your Player of the Year guys. Your Player of the Year guys. You set them up against each other. Regular golf rules, you have honors if you've had the low score on the previous hole. Same thing. The 3 losers, or if you tie all 4 of them, got to do a shot in between holes. And if you pass out, by the way, you're eliminated. You can't win.
You want this to be bar golf?
Yes, but I want it televised because I want to watch it on TV.
You just get a liquor sponsor?
Yeah, and we'll broadcast if CBS doesn't want to, Golf Channel, NBC doesn't want to. FanStream Sports will broadcast it. I can't wait to do play-by-play for this. And you know what? It's a made-for-TV event. And it's more fair. I think it's more fair. Who can hold their liquor? Obviously, you get somebody like Shane Lowry in the mix. Probably going to hold his liquor better than Scotty Scheffler or Jordan Spieth.
Don't be so sure, but okay.
Rory might hold his liquor pretty well as a Northern Irishman, Northern Irelander, whatever they're called. Yeah, dude, that's how you fix it. I just fixed it. Everybody would tune in to watch that. Don't tell me they wouldn't. You would watch it. I would rather watch that than TGL.
Are you done?
Wouldn't you? Would you rather watch that than TGL?
Well, TGL is unwatchable anyways, but
right.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say, to be honest with
Exactly.
you. I'm just sitting here listening to you just chirp off about the worst idea I've ever heard in my life.
No, you've heard worse.
This is terrible. I mean, why don't you just forget about golf and just see who can drink the most, and that's player of the year. It doesn't have to be golf player of the year. You're just the player. You're player of the year.
That's a different sport. I'm trying to fix golf.
No, you can't.
All right, what's a worse take? This or when I said that the Open Championship should not be a major? Because it shouldn't.
I mean, they're both terrible. They're both terrible. This is what I got to deal with for the show tonight?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But I've already discussed that on the golf show, so we're not going to rehash that. So you won't get that.
Okay. No, listen, here's what might not be a terrible idea. Take your top 4 nominees of the player of the year and have them play a tournament.
Okay, but they got to drink. We have to have alcohol involved to make for good TV.
Just because you drink at 8:00 in the morning doesn't mean everybody else does. Now, there's a lot of people that do. But
we got some hot golf takes. You guys need to make sure you tune in at 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Eastern to From the Rough, as me and Johnny are going to go back and forth again today.
Think about this. Player of the year. Player of the year. It's not FedEx Cup player of the year. It's player of the year. It's for the whole year.
Right.
So just think about that. I think there's a case for everybody except Fleetwood. I don't think Fleetwood body of work.
Right.
My opinion through the year, just because the amount of wins should be in the conversation. Ben Griffin certainly could be. Rory and Scotty.
Scoring average,
yeah, but you can't have scoring average is skewed. You got to realize they're not playing the same tournaments. When you don't play the same tournaments,
why we get away with signature events.
That's why you have a Varden Trophy winner scoring average of the year, not player of the year. So it's different. They're completely different things. You can't say scoring average in the mix of player of the year. It's a component, but it is not the number one component.
Well, it can't be an accident that your top 4 scoring averages were body of work players.
It's body of work for the year. Okay, so think about that. If it were me, with 2 majors, Rory McIlroy playing in the Ryder Cup as well as he did, how well he contended through the year, for me, it's Rory McIlroy. That's just me.
That's my vote as well, but they didn't ask me.
Okay, so we'll talk about that a little bit more on the golf show tonight.
For sure. Aviation says Pot Guider is a stud.
Yep.
I like Aldrich.
Longest player on the tour.
And then and my guy Brian Campbell. We're fans of Brian Campbell.
Shortest player on the tour.
And then Aviation also throws out a hot golf opinion that Johnny's going to love. I love, but Johnny will love even more. Brian Campbell's better than Colin Morikawa.
They both hit it about the same.
For those of you that don't know and haven't watched the golf show for the last 5 years, Johnny's arch nemesis on the PGA Tour is Colin Morikawa.
And tune in for the show tonight to find out why. Because
we'll tell you why we'll recap that on the show. But it's I mean, if you listen to any show, you'll know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tim will like. I do like that one. It's a hot take. But anytime somebody's putting down Colin Morikawa, I'm all for it.
Very good. Man. Very good. Aviation 1436.
Yeah. I'm all for it. So anyway, Johnny, it has been fun, man. This was
a lot of fun.
2 hours blew by. I didn't even get to my college football stuff. I'm going to save that for Friday's show, whether I'm doing it solo or whether JP's with me, because the playoff starts on Friday. So I'll go over the predictions, the matchups, taking you all the way through the bracket to the championship game, and who's going to play and who's going to win. I'll just say it might be a rematch of something we've already seen, JP. I'm going to tease it. Right. Tease it like that.
Okay.
Did I just call you JP? I think I just called you JP.
Yeah, you did, but that's okay. I love JP.
Sorry about that. I am IndyCarTim. That is not JP. That is Johnny. It's like sometimes I call JP Colby.
Yeah.
Like it's really weird, but I never call Colby JP. And I think that's the first time I called you Lance once on the golf show.
Yep.
I was probably pretty drunk out there at Barrel and Bones, though. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys participating. I will be back on Friday, either with or without JP. Nick Geddes will take you all the way tomorrow. Make sure you tune in for his cerebral sports talk. I wouldn't call what we do very cerebral, Johnny, but hopefully it was entertaining, informative, and fun for everybody, because it's always fun to do, for sure. So Until Friday, boys and girls, y'all keep hitting them. No, that's the wrong show. Until Friday, boys and girls, we'll see ya.